Breaking news! The New England Patriots are once again at the center of the spotlight, making bold moves and embracing a vision of undeniable greatness. The front office and the coaching staff have demonstrated a level of leadership that makes every blue, red, and silver heart beat faster with pride and anticipation. And right now, I want to challenge you. What grade would you give to the people building this brand new era in Foxborough? Honestly, in my opinion, they deserve a trophy just for their courage, ambition, and relentless commitment to excellence. I have never been this excited in all my years following this legendary team. The energy is electric, and you can feel that something special is on the horizon. I believe many fans are absolutely convinced that the next Super Bowl is within our reach. And let me tell you, I don't doubt it for a single second. We are going after that championship with everything we've got. But hold on to that excitement, because in just a moment, I'll be back to share more about what's fueling this unstoppable momentum. For now, let's jump straight into the first big story of the day. Something tells me you're not going to believe what's been happening behind the scenes in Foxborough, because if you think this offseason was just about the usual roster tweaks and contract extensions, you're in for a massive surprise. I'm about to unpack a string of moves that some insiders are calling outright highway robbery, and no, that's not hyperbole. From seasoned veterans to sneaky draft picks, the Patriots have executed a series of acquisitions that could turn the 2025 season into a statement year, the kind that gets replayed in highlight reels and docuseries for the next decade. Let's start with a name that doesn't always dominate the headlines but has quietly been at the center of this transformation, Eliot Wolf. He and Mike Vrabel have been working hand in hand, and it's not just the big names they've targeted. They've assembled a roster that looks meticulously engineered to be deeper, faster, and meaner than almost anything the Patriots have rolled out since the dynasty era. And just when you thought you'd heard it all, this next part is going to get under the skin of every Pittsburgh fan alive. Because while the Patriots have been building something real in Foxborough, the Steelers have been busy copying them. Literally. You've probably seen it on social media. The Patriots launched the Forged in Foxborough documentary series, an authentic, inside look at the grit and culture that make this team different. So what do the Steelers do? They slap together their own version and call it Forged in Pittsburgh. If that doesn't scream unoriginal, I don't know what does. Go ahead and let me know in the comments. Drop a big FP4 flat-out plagiarism, because the Patriots started this movement, and no amount of imitation is going to change that. But back to what really matters, the football moves that could rewire the entire AFC East power structure. Among the wave of additions, there are 8 names you need to memorize right now. Stefon Diggs, the perennial Pro Bowl receiver whose route running is going to keep defensive coordinators up at night. Milton Williams, a force on the defensive line. Harold Landry off the edge, bringing a pass rush presence that pairs perfectly with Matthew Judon. Robert Spillane, who's stepping into a starting linebacker role. Morgan Moses on the offensive line. Carlton Davis locking down the boundary at corner. Garrett Bradbury anchoring the line at center. And the man I want to zero in on today, Jack Gibbens. Jack Gibbens is not a household name. He doesn't have the celebrity factor of Diggs or the notoriety of Landry, but he's the kind of player who can be the difference between a playoff contender and a championship team. In Tennessee, Gibbens put together a quietly outstanding 2023 season, 14 games, 95 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and a sack. That was the year he emerged as a real force. And who was standing on the sideline as his head coach? Mike Vrabel. So when Gibbens got phased out by a new Titans regime in 2024 and left to watch from the sidelines, you can bet Vrabel remembered exactly what he'd seen. That's why the Patriots didn't hesitate to scoop him up when he hit free agency. You have to understand, Gibbens played only 39% of the snaps last season. That's it. The Titans practically forgot he existed, and in the process, they set up the Patriots for what could be the most under-the-radar steal in the league. Because when you look past snap counts and flashy headlines, this guy has everything you want: range, instincts, the ability to read and close on plays, and the experience to step in without needing months to adjust. And here's why this signing matters even more than it might on paper. During OTAs in early June, linebacker Jahlani Tavai went down with a calf injury. Now, the official word was that he'd be back by training camp. But if you know anything about calf injuries, you know how easily they can turn into something much worse. Just ask NBA players who blew out their Achilles after planting on a compromised calf. It's one of those injuries that doesn't just go away if you rush it. So while Tavai works his way back, the Patriots are going to need someone reliable to fill in. Enter Gibbens. He already knows Vrabel's scheme inside and out. He has the production. He's not going to shrink under pressure. And he's coming in on a contract that is practically risk-free. 1 year, $1.3 million. For a player with nearly 100 tackles in his best season, that is the textbook definition of low risk, high reward. If you're building a defense meant to be among the NFL's top 10, These are the types of moves that make it possible. And let's not forget the ripple effect of this competition. While Robert Spillane and Christian Ellis are penciled in as the starters, the second-tier battles are going to be fierce. Gibbons and Tavai are in a head-to-head clash to be that first man off the bench. Pro Football Focus already ranked the Patriots linebacker unit as the third best in the entire NFL, and with this much depth, you can understand why. When you have capable veterans not just fighting for roster spots but fighting for legitimate playing time, you're going to get the best out of everyone. But that's not where the story ends. Because if the Gibbons signing was a highway robbery, what do you call what happened in the draft? The Patriots somehow managed to snag Craig Woodson, the safety out of Cal, in the 4th round. That's right, 4th round. A player who put up PFF grades of 88.5 and 88.6 last season and who had 6 pass breakups, multiple interceptions, and a reputation of being a 4-down player. Woodson isn't just a safety. He's a defensive Swiss Army knife. He'll be on 1st down, 3rd down, special teams, punt return, you name it. This is the sort of versatility that the Patriots have always loved. And with Marte Mapu moving to linebacker, there's a clear opening for Woodson to carve out a real role. Especially if Kyle Duggar struggles the way he did last year coming off injuries. Woodson might just be the name that creeps up the depth chart, earns the trust of the coaching staff, and by mid-season is lining up next to Jabril Peppers as a starting safety. Taken together, you're looking at a defensive overhaul that feels intentional, methodical, and designed to last. You add Terrell Williams from the Lions coaching staff, you bring in Milton Williams, you reinforce linebacker depth, you grab a corner like Carlton Davis, you keep Christian Gonzalez in the mix. Everywhere you look, this defense is stacking talent. So let's open it up to you. What do you think about all these moves? Is this truly the year the Patriots defense becomes a top 5 unit again? How would you grade the linebacker room with the addition of Jack Gibbons? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm going to be reading every single one of them because I want to know. Is this the defense you've been waiting for? And while you're thinking about it, consider this. All these moves aren't just about paper depth charts or off-season optimism. They're about cultivating a mentality that used to be synonymous with the Patriots' name, ruthless preparation, relentless competition, and a culture where no roster spot is ever safe. You can feel it in the way Mike Vrabel and Elliott Wolf have approached every acquisition, how they've been hunting for players who not only bring talent but fit the attitude they're trying to reestablish in Foxborough. Let's take a closer look at the broader defensive picture, because this is where things start to get really intriguing. You've got Christian Gonzalez coming off a rookie season where he flashed shutdown potential before the injury. You have Jabril Peppers, a guy whose versatility has made him a crucial piece in disguising coverages and confusing quarterbacks. Then there's Kyle Duggar, who, even in a down year battling through injuries, showed why he's still respected across the league as a punishing, instinctive defender. But if you think the Patriots are content to roll with status quo, you haven't been paying attention. Craig Woodson landing in New England is proof. In most years, a safety with his all-around production and high-level grades wouldn't have slipped past the 2nd round, let alone the 3rd. So why did he fall to the 4th? Some scouts said it was because teams were uncertain whether he projected as a pure free safety or a hybrid. But if you follow